I actually am at the centre of a conspiracy, and
You're welcome to record, Richard.
yeah, thank you. That's
Victoria, but you're not allowed to post it anywhere publicly.
Yeah, well, it depends who. You're not a lawyer, so it depends whose legal team has the most money. And I was framed by a doctor a very long time ago. I've been fighting for justice, and I've been framed, and they've used that reason, but I've put it in the public domain. And the reason he can't sue me is because, or attack me, or take me to jail or anything, is because they're going to say, okay, why are you doing that for? And the malpractice will be exposed.
Right. Okay.
So it's a standoff.
All right. Okay.
So now, going back a step, you've seen my quote today on Facebook, or someone's called you.
Yeah. So we're here because you've got people in your life that are quite concerned about.
Yeah, my brother's coming up. My brother's coming over tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. We're going out for a coffee.
Yeah.
I'm quite chilled tonight. I had a good chat to my friend Jim Pavlidis from The Age.
Yeah.
Who's an illustrator there, who's unfortunately just had a stroke, but he's all right. He's helping me tomorrow as well, make a complaint on my behalf.
Okay.
And I do have suicidal ideation, but I'm fine now.
Yeah.
And
when you say you're fine now, like, is it something that comes and goes, or?
Well, you know, I could explain to you rationally what's happened to me.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to be able to act. Your job is to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah,
right?
You're exactly right. Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. Anything beyond that or outside of that, you're not going to act on. So I can tell you now that for a person with such mental health concerns, you know, someone who said they were going to hotbox themselves on heroin and top themselves, and I don't think it's fair just to stay here for people, to save people's pain, you know, and comments like that. That should have been taken seriously. And then I asked the GP if he could offer a psychiatrist or psychologist, and he said, I don't know anyone. And then he said, you're so clever you'll fall between the cracks. Now, I am clever. I've just done a PhD, so I'm Dr. Rich McLean. But he should have acted, and they're using that law, exactly what you said, against me. So, but I offered a transcript, but then again, his lawyer, through freedom of information, I got the transcript, the email that said, it's inconsistent with the recording, it's not to be used. So his highfalutin lawyer was threatening APRA with, you know, in context by saying don't use anything.
Yes.
Okay, so my whole complaint was based on nothing, and now I got NHPOPC to investigate it, which is the body that investigates APRA, and they waited over a year watching me squirm and really be distressed until such point. I think these powers that be actually want me to kill myself, you know.
Okay, all right.
That's what I think. I'll let you go speak.
Yeah,
go speak.
So that's why we're here, because we don't want you to kill yourself, and you've got people in your life that are very worried about you and your safety, yeah? So that's the reason we've come out tonight, okay? So we are concerned about your safety, and I know you're saying that you're safe now, but it seems like these thoughts are coming frequently, and you are expressing yourself that you are struggling and that you will end your life.
Well, that was like a, how will we say, a motive for people to take action, you know, because all I need is one person to make a complaint on my behalf.
Yeah.
But I haven't found one friend or family member or colleague to do that. No one's willing to cross the line, and how it's framed is they're going to make me look like I'm crazy, so that you take me away in a white suit and put me in and fill me with medication, and that's the way the plan goes. I've already predicted that. So now I'll have to tell you too that my psychiatrist, who I've only seen a very few times, but costs $800 a session, he dumped me, and he knows he's the only person who can give me the medication I need.
Yeah.
So basically, if he was an oncologist for a cancer patient giving radiation, and that was going to save that person's life, which he's admitted, this does save my life, and he said, no, I've had a bingo with you. You can go up to some other hospital that doesn't have radiation and they die. That's malpractice. So that's happened just recently.
Yeah.
So
I think Dr. Lior suggested someone in our area, Dr. Mortier,
yeah, but
prescribe.
There was no consistency. There was no definitiveness. There was no certainty that would happen. So, in effect, what Dr. Horgan has done has just thrown me out to the wolves.
Right.
So I think that's malpractice, and I also think it's unethical that Dr. Cooper, another doctor, I in confidence mentioned a gambling thing, because I've also had a sexual abuse case which has been going for 3.5 years, and they slaughtered me in court with no one believing me. And so the tipping point was really that recently. But
so court was just recent.
I got the CD. Look, they didn't give me the lawyers didn't even give me the outcome. Right. They just fobbed me off. Okay. Now that's perverting the course of justice or withholding legal information. My outcome, that's illegal. And I begged the court for a recording because I heard that happened, and I didn't hear anything for months, and I thought, I'm fighting people who are untouchable, you know. And so she sent me the recording. It just came in a plain envelope, and I knew it was just a recording of her not acknowledging anything I sent her, and that I was going to lose anyway. So
Can I politely interject?
Yeah, sure. I know I talk a lot, but I've got a lot to say.
Of course, no worries. You said before that people want you to seem crazy and take you away in a white coat. I'd like to say we don't want to do that, and no one's suggesting you're crazy, as in you're not psychotic, or a psychiatrist doesn't think you're psychotic. We don't think that either. So no one's trying to suggest that. Our concerns are, what's been raised are, that you've expressed
a desire to die.
No, not a desire to die, that you have intentions of suiciding, of killing yourself. You've expressed that publicly on
Facebook,
certain media platforms.
Yep.
And we've had multiple members of the community, people that know you, have raised immediate concerns about your
safety.
Can
I know who they are?
Yeah, so your dad was happy to be known?
Yep.
That he was concerned about you?
Yeah, well, that's nice.
Yeah. There were multiple,
They're lovely people, they just don't understand.
There were at least 3, and since we last saw you, at least 3 people have called with grave concerns about your immediate safety. So that's our job today,
I guess,
to ask you questions about that, really.
Yeah.
And to understand if you're safe or not.
Yeah. Well, framed by today, I'm just not even having a cider yet, which is unusual. Not even having a cider, but I might have one before I go to bed. My brother's coming tomorrow. I've got to do the dishes. I like to think I present the house pretty well when my brother comes round. Yeah. So I'm cleaning up a bit. And that's really all I can say, apart from what has happened to me has been unjust through so many institutions, organisations, people and places, including the Federal Health Minister and APRA, NHPOPC and the police, who I've offered to give them information about a murder and maybe my own murder, because if that recording was found and I had have died on that suicide attempt, then the doctor could have been tried for manslaughter. But they don't want to hear it from me. Yeah. So I can't go to the police. Yeah. So the police are hopeless for me. I can't go to APRA to make a complaint because I've got evidence that they block my calls. Right. I can't send an email to the federal police because they know my domain name and they've blocked the ISP. Right. Now, complicated by all this, I'd like to put down on the record, my former partner of 5 years left me homeless and squatting like I am now. Yeah. And he was a millionaire, and he preached monogamy but was doing the other the whole time. So the deceit was unbelievable. He's a criminal mastermind and a sociopathic narcissist. And I'm a really nice guy, and I got drained and dumped, and I've tried to bring this up, and the powers that be, i.e. he worked for ASIO, and I know it sounds like I'm psychotic, but it's actually real. David Irvine, then the head of ASIO, was his boss, and they just someone's pulling strings from really high up to make me suffer, and and this is the eventual outcome, but I'm okay now. All I did that because I don't think people are listening to me. I'm not being acknowledged. I haven't got traction. Especially with sexual abuse stuff, it's well documented, the schism that happens when an adult doesn't get validation for their child trauma. And that's what tipped me over the edge. And in addition to that, I just want to say, so I wanted to take a break because a lot of the clients I work with, I'm an NDIS therapist, a lot of the clients I work with have child rape trauma stuff and going on. It was affecting me in subtle ways, and I was doing all their VOCAT cases. So I'm getting paranoid that because it's linked to me, they're not going to get their case heard because everything goes up, Anyway, I decided that was a meltdown for me when the disc came, and I asked for a break. And I got my new GP to fill out a form, and that was all fine. But the insurer didn't pay it. So I've got another fight on my hands, I can't fight
Can I
100 million people. Yes.
So one of the things that Dr. Lior, who's our psychiatrist, did was contact your GP about suggesting a psychiatrist in this area. Have you seen your GP since we...
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't got a car because I don't know if it was targeted, but it got broken into and the lock barrel broken.
Right, okay.
So I'm literally in a lot of debt.
Yeah.
That's a stress.
Yeah.
Without any food, barely anything to eat, and I've got a computer and a dog. And, the landlord doesn't know about this yet. Some of my family does. I did a Facebook fundraiser to pay rent, but, I'm not a saint, and I've taken drugs and gambled before, so people don't want to enable me.
Yeah.
So there's that double entendre, So people are just leaving me, and a lot have left.
Yes.
And I tried to call friends tonight, and they're not interested in a bad news story.
Yeah.
Can I ask, you said you posted on Facebook intentions to suicide. What was that about? Why did you do that?
I was just sharing my webpage because I've got richmclean.com.au, which was an artist website, and for my advocacy page for looking after people on the NDIS, which was really well done and was amazing. I loved the job. And but now the powers that be, again, NDIS, I had to tell them I was in a debt agreement, so I did, because that's what I have to legally do. But they came back and said, you need to be audited, you're acting illegally. So I thought, well, they're setting me up. If I go to work, they're going to come down to me. So that's another reason I had to stop. And the two organisations that I need auspice from is the Arts Therapy Association or Australian Counsellors Association.
Do you have intention on ending your life? Do you intend to suicide? Never?
Oh yeah, I have. You're not listening, mate. It's already happened. I'm post-death. Right? Dr. Whitaker, the first doctor I told you about, I told him I would kill myself in numerous ways.
Okay.
He told me that he can't find a psychologist or psychiatrist, and that I'm so clever I'll fall between the cracks.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah, and then in the same meeting, he gave me a lethal dose of opioids. Okay. Now, a couple of weeks later, I then tried to overdose, but I lived. Okay. So, yeah, I have before, but
since then?
Well, I'm trying to be clear about the issues that I've faced.
No, but we need to understand whether you're so acutely suicidal.
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay, I understand that you've been stockpiling medication to suicide. Is that true?
No.
It's not true. That's completely unfounded?
Completely unfounded. However...
So the people that reported that have made that up?
I think my mother asked me that, so she's probably one that called. But I'd like to say, in regards to that for someone who's... Like, it was a well-known fact in APRA, the medical field, through doctors, everything, that I'd overdosed on opioids, right? So I left that doctor and went to another doctor, Dr. Cooper in Yarraville. Now, he was kind of a funny bloke. At one stage, he was prescribing me 2 boxes of high milligram endone a week. Now, for someone who's already overdosed on opioids, and he knew my issues because I was very transparent with him, it seems a little unethical to give a person that, you know. So, but to make things worse, then when I was addicted to it, he pulled away all Valium and all OxyContin and wrote me a letter saying, banning me from the clinic, but saying if you go to drug and alcohol rehab, we'll have your back. Right. So it's nasty work, you know. And one doctor doesn't want to dob a buddy doctor in to APRA, you know. So basically, I've meant nothing to them, so they mean nothing to me, right? Okay. So can I just say though, I'll just say one more thing. Yeah. A conciliation malpractice case, which I have valid reason for, is very low, $200,000 to $500,000, because there's been such a deliberate, malicious conspiracy to harm me, and over the years and months, watch me suffer until it's come to this point where you guys come. All those companies and institutions have an ethical and moral obligation to look after people who email them, and none of them has shown that. I've been blacklisted, I've been earmarked, I'm a nice person, I deserve justice, and that's what I've been fighting for 4 years. And I thought to myself, how can one even get traction on this when I've had a letter from the Federal Minister Greg Hunt, and my former partner, who I've accused as being co-conspirator in a murder, is being covered by ASIO. Like, I'm one person, you know. I can't fight everyone. That's the frustration I feel. Yeah. That's clear enough?
Yeah, it is. Yes. So what we hear is you've had significant trauma in your past, layers and layers. You've got stress now. You've been telling people that you are going to suicide.
But that was out of desperation, just to make people pay attention, because no one's validated or haven't had traction. No one's heard the story. No one's heard the recording. I've tried to share it. It's been just me on APRA, me on NHPRPC, me on the police, I haven't, and then I've tried to share it like in a public way, and the very reason I haven't been arrested or sued is because it's going to exactly expose the crime I committed. I'm accusing him of.
The issue we have, Richard, is that you've expressed to multiple people that you are going to suicide. Multiple people have called us. You have a history of attempted suicide. So we're concerned about your immediate safety.
But I'm totally okay. Like, I'm just... Okay. Who's this?
Turning around.
Oh, okay.
So we'd like to offer you to come to hospital.
Yeah.
For a review with our psychiatrist and some support and some treatment with your health and your emotional health and your experiences. We'd like to offer you a voluntary admission to come to hospital.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's always nice that someone actually did care. But it's less encouraging that I have valid things to bring up that no one wants to intervene in, and I get earmarked, like I always have been, with being the mad person. Now, that suicide thing was for a purpose. It was to make people act and to help me get traction. I'm totally fine. I'm going to go in and have a beer. I appreciate it.
Okay. Can I just really politely say something, Richard? So you expressed your previous suicide attempt was to get people's attention to gain some traction.
No, I didn't say that.
Or the expression of the. I'm sorry.
No, I was absolutely grief-stricken last time. I'd realised my sexual abuse. I was doing a PhD. Okay. I was isolated. This is the reasons last time. Okay. My own family didn't believe the sexual abuse. They said I probably caught him with a dirty magazine. Really upset me. And the doctors, Dr. Whitaker and my psychologist, Dr. Robert McKinnon and Stella Kwong and a few others were mentioned in the suicide note. saying that they just want money. They just want to tick it through, you know. They actually don't care, and they didn't. And, you know, I was very angry, and I was grieving the loss of someone I dearly, dearly loved.
It sounds awful. It sounds really horrendous.
Well, it all kind of came to a point, you know.
Okay.
And, you know, I've been that kind of person who's been altruistic and helped so many people over the years. I'm not sure how much you know about me, but I've got human rights awards, I've written books, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I've helped enough people.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm glad to hear it.
Now, but when it came to someone helping me, it was missing. And the reason I specify that event with Dr. Whitaker and that suicide attempt was that I expressed to him I was suicidal because of the grief, and in numerous ways, and recorded it. There's like an A-grade recording. You can't deny a fact, you know. But there is a conspiracy to cover that up, and I'm the unwilling participant at the centre of it. But I want to say I'm not in that space now.
Look, I'm glad to hear that. Richard, I guess we don't have any power to help you with your legal experiences, your legal battle, which is past or future. We, as mental health professionals, want to offer you mental health support and care.
Yeah.
And we'd like you to come to hospital for further review by our psychiatric team and potentially some treatment and some care.
You know what I need? I need someone to advocate for me, whether VIMIAC or the Mental Health Legal Centre. I've even got a letter from the Australian Human Rights Commission that says, we acknowledge you think that, you know, if your family or friends found the recording, the doctor could have been tried with manslaughter, and you have evidence of a murder, but that's outside our jurisdiction. See, everyone I talk to, it's outside of their jurisdiction.
Also, part of our support is there are social workers on the ward, and we have lots of information, and we can get you in touch with independent mental health advocacy services and support services. So we can do that as part of your treatment, but we would like you to come into hospital tonight to get.
I know, but I can just say, I can only reiterate that the things that happened in the past are not happening now, and it was like a thing to get people to acknowledge my valid concerns, and like you told me, no one can help me with my problems there, and I'm better off at home having a beer, watching the TV with my dog.
What we said was we can't help you with your legal things right now, but we can only help you with your health.
Yeah, well, do I sound okay?
No, you don't. You sound unwell.
Well,
you've expressed multiple conspiracy theories. You've expressed to multiple people on multiple media platforms that you intend to suicide. We understand you have a stockpile of medication. We can't confirm nor deny that. We have immediate concerns for your safety. You're refusing to come to hospital. We'd like you to come voluntarily. We do not want to traumatise you in any way, but we'd like you to come to hospital tonight for further review and support and care.
Can I bring my evidence so that I can explain that it's not a conspiracy?
What evidence do you want to plug? Your recordings and things? Sure.
Absolutely.
Bring your recordings?
Well, it's going to take me a while to put them all together.
Well, so we feel you need to come to hospital tonight, so we need you to come. So maybe bring what you have to hand.
And what if I say no, I'm not coming?
We would like you to come voluntarily to hospital.
But I'm happy to stay home. Like, I'm totally okay. My brother is coming tomorrow.
We have immediate concerns about your safety, Richard. We'd like
I don't. You do.
Yes, I do.
But I don't.
Based on the concerns of people that know you and I think care about you. So based on your media posts and based on the concerns of multiple people in your life that have raised immediate concerns about your welfare, that's what our decision is based on.
Well, I can only say that the how this has all unfolded has been a meticulous, purposeful, spiteful way to get me to this point. And if I go with you, that means they're winning. Well, now I'm going to say very clearly,
yes,
I don't have medication stockpiled up.
Okay.
If I wanted to kill myself, I could very easily.
Yes.
It's not rocket science.
Right.
Now, I'm totally okay. I'm going to go in and have a beer with my dog, and I'm going to chill in front of the TV and try and relax. Framed by what you've said, I appreciate that you've come. I appreciate that people have called, and I'll go in there and thank them.
Okay.
but I'm not coming tonight unless you chain me to a tree.
No one's going to chain you to anything, Richard, but if now you're refusing to come, we have to use the Mental Health Act, okay? So we're going to place you on an assessment order under the Mental Health Act, which means you...
So wait. So you're offering that I come voluntarily,
Yes,
and then if I say no, then you put the law down on me.
Based on immediate concerns for your safety, yes.
Something that you've talked a lot about, Richard, is kind of duty of care themes, and that's what we have. We do have a duty of care to keep people safe. If you chose to go voluntarily, then that's us meeting our duty of care.
Can we talk about duty of care? I'm not going, by the way. Can we talk about duty of care in saying, if I go, will you have to hear all my evidence so you don't think I'm conspiratorial and paranoid?
I think it's a really good idea that you speak to the psychiatrist about that. So under an assessment order under the Mental Health Act, you'll be reviewed by a psychiatrist within 24 hours, and you and that psychiatrist will come to a decision, essentially the psychiatrist's final decision of whether you are unwell or not, whether you need to be in hospital or not, whether you need treatment or not. It's the psychiatrist's decisions. We place you on an assessment order, which means you need further assessment by that psychiatrist. And we believe that has to take place in a hospital setting. Okay.
So how are you going to get me there?
So we're going to call an ambulance and ask them to transport you to hospital.
Okay. We'll go call them, and I'll just lock the door.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm totally okay. These people are framing me to get me to this point.
I don't know about that, but we are concerned about your safety.
Well, please don't be concerned, because I'm absolutely fine.
Okay.
I recommend that you don't call an ambulance, and I have recorded all this for my evidence.
We'll get you a booklet of rights for the assessment order. So we're going to place you on an assessment order under the Mental Health Act.
Okay.
You legally have to come to hospital.
Well, you know what? Legally, it was okay for Donald Trump to be president, and legally, it was okay to have slaves at one point. I mean, you're just pawns in this whole big machine, aren't you? Really?
Thanks for your time, Richard. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Great, you're gonna fucking lock me up.